Hi everyone, it's Truckdrivingirl here again. And today's video, I'll be focusing on the big question of why did you decide to get into the trucking industry? Like, what inspired you to become a truck driver? Why truck driving? So I feel like there's a lot of misconception when it depends. Like people who are not a lot more knowledgeable on what it means to be a commercial driver versus the other people who I'm going to describe right now. People who think, oh, look at this truck driver, oh, a truck driver. They probably think like, oh, ew, like a truck driver, whatever. But honestly, I'm gonna start by saying, number one, I have a high school diploma. 2, I went to college. 3, I went to university. And here I am now. So yes, what I went to school for has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but things happen in life. We're all evolving, things change. So, when I was younger, of course, I always wanted to, find something I want to do and just wish that, it's just amazing for once I finish school and everything and I continue, get out there and start my career. I'm loving it and I do it for I've been doing this for 30 years. Yeah, I still want that, but now I want that for being a truck driver. So what I went to school for, originally I wanted to be a doctor, a general practitioner, ever since I was a kid. But I had an epiphany when I was in college, actually. So finished high school, went to college for business administration. I was gonna take a bridging program from college to university. However, I actually dropped that after the first week. I dropped the business course after the first week, and it was kind of, at the time I was sad because I dropped it literally after I spent hundreds of dollars on my textbooks. Literally the day after I bought my textbooks, I ended up dropping that program. And textbooks are not cheap. So yeah, so I had an epiphany during my little period of confusion, what am I gonna do? And I ended up going back. Whatever money was spent towards that tuition, it was transferred over to my next program, which I started the following January, which was Police Foundations. So I went to college for Police Foundations. I have my credits and everything, all that good stuff. I actually happened to bridge to university. I can hear you. So yeah, I bridged from college to university. So I did 2 majors, policing and criminology. And yeah, I'm just gonna give you the basics. I have a high school diploma, went to college, Police Foundations, went to university, policing and criminology, and now here I am. I am a commercial driver. And this is actually what I want to do for the rest of my life. For real, I've finally found something that, this is actually what I really want to do long term, you know what I mean? Of course, in the future, I might tweak what I'm doing a bit. Like I said, there's a whole idea of, you become an owner operator and then, you have your own fleet of trucks, all that. That's the big picture, you know what I mean? So I am working for a company right now, and I am gonna put out another video related to that. So stay tuned for that next video. That's the next video I'm gonna post. But yes, so what inspired me to become a truck driver? So wanting to go into law enforcement, I was doing security. I was a security guard for, different companies, but as it relates to my trucking, that point where I took interest in trucks, I was working for a security company out in the region that I live in. And what the job consisted of was basically, I worked in a gatehouse, so we processed trucks. So there were 2 guards on each side of the gatehouse, and there was inbound and outbound. So trucks coming in for inbound and then outbound trucks going out. I started on inbound, and I don't know, like outbound was much easier than inbound, but for some reason I really liked inbound more. Maybe it's because that's where like when I first started, that's where they tried to focus me more, because I understand that the inbound is a lot more of a, it's a lot more work than outbound, because you know, but for inbound, like, you know, I got to learn a lot about the trucks, like you learn about reefers, I learned about bobtails. There's so much I learned, you know what I mean? And you know, being there, I met a lot of people, met a lot of drivers. I loved to interact with the drivers. Like, I love meeting new people, I love talking, you know what I mean? I love interacting with people. As antisocial as I am, I'll be real, and as shy as I can be, like when it comes to actually like talking to people, like I'm outgoing. Like it's confusing, like I'm an introvert, but I'm also very outgoing. So I love to go for long drives. I love to go out. But I'll be like, when I, like for example, if I enter a room, like of course I'll be the quiet one. And I find that a lot of people, they look at me, like the first time they look at me, like they make these assumptions about me, like, oh, she must be like this way, she must be like that. Maybe they'll, you know, do like, you know, like what, crack a little joke here and there to see, you know, try to figure some things out. But then people slowly like discover my personality and see who I really am, and they're just amazed, like, wow, like you're actually really nothing like I thought. And I mean, if people want to make assumptions, it used to be annoying, but now I don't really care. If people want to make assumptions, that's your choice, you know what I mean? I know who I really am, I know what I stand for, I know what I believe, what I value, my morals, all that. So if you want to think what you want to think, go ahead, it doesn't bother me. But the sweetest part is when people really and truly discover who I am, and they're like, wow, she's not like what I thought how she is. Anyways, I used to love to interact with the drivers. Not gonna lie, I didn't really, and like, okay, I'm not gonna say that. But I love to meet new people. So that piqued my interest in, like, you know, the trucking industry. Of course, over time, you meet people, you make friends, you know, you start talking to certain people consistently, and I made friends. I'll be real, I made friends there. There was one individual who the friendship was much deeper, like, you know what I mean? Like I talked to this person regularly, and yeah, so left it there. I ended up leaving that job, to be honest. So it's not like I decided that, okay, I'm gonna start trucking right after I left that job. Like it took months. Like, as a kid, my mom used to always say, like, you know, like she would want, like, you know, like her AZ license, and she used to talk about it. And as a kid, I'm like, wow, an AZ license, like that's like the highest license, isn't it? Oh, I want that. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So anyways, as I was saying, it's not like I left the job and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this right now. It actually took months. It took a lot of months for me to finally decide to actually go ahead and get my license. I got into a car accident, so, you know, like the whole treatment and all that stuff. So that's what I was doing in the months leading up to the time when I decided to go get my license, or go to trucking school. And, you know, like I was home, I was doing so much, still doing some therapy, but I was doing a bunch of therapy, and it's like, you know what, during the time that I'm really like, I'm home most of the time, let me finally decide to get up and, you know, just do something. Even if I don't decide to start trucking right away after getting the license, let me just, you know, have it for when I'm ready to, you know, pursue it. So also back to that friend I told you about, they would tell me, like, you know, they would like, I expressed my interest in it, and you know, they would help me a bit. They would tell me, like, you know, things about major and minor defects here and there, you know, show me things like just how to couple a trailer and how to uncouple. You know, we'd go and do a couple drop switches as well. As much as the person like might have thought like, okay, like, I don't think she's really serious, you know what I mean? I was listening. I was very much listening, but obviously like the interest wasn't as high as it is right now. You know, like when you're in school and you're learning something and you're just not understanding it, and you know, you don't comprehend what you're being taught, and then it's like, okay, a year down the line when school's all over, or if months, whenever, and then you think back to it and it's like, wow, like why did that seem so hard at the time? Like, this is actually so easy. Yeah, it was one of those for me. So like, it's like I went back in my memory and just grasped everything I learned or everything that person was teaching me, and then it just came back, and once I was in school learning about it, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember this. I definitely remember that. It's all making sense. So that is actually what inspired me to get into this industry. Like, it all, I guess you could say it all started from childhood. First, me learning about the license as a kid, and then boom, fast forward to me getting a job, working around that stuff, doing like a bunch of admin stuff, processing trailers and trucks and stuff like that. You know, I learned these terms, and now that I'm actually working and doing it, I don't know, it's funny how life works. Everything just connects, you know what I mean? And that's how I feel about this. Like, from me learning about the license, getting the job, and then finally going to the school, learning about it, now I'm actually working, and like everything is just piecing itself together. And yes, so that is what inspired me to get into the industry. That is how it went down for me. I am working now, so the next video I will be posting is actually me delivering my first load. So stay tuned for that. And yes, you'll see me again. Like I always say, see ya.